खलीफा के हम हैं खलीफा हमारा, वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा, हमारा हमारा खलीफा हमारा, वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा, वो दिल है हमारा आका हमारा.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to This Week with Huzoor. This week we are honored to present highlights of an interview of Khalifatul Masih Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz by Marco Respinti for an upcoming documentary.
Last Sunday, Marco Respinti, an Italian journalist, had the opportunity to interview Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen for a forthcoming documentary on religious freedom. During the 45-minute interview, Huzoor Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz spoke about Islam's true teachings, the efforts of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community to promote peace and harmony in the world, and addressed topics such as jihad and the equal status of women in Islam. The interview took place in Huzoor's office in Islamabad. We are pleased to be able to feature some exclusive excerpts from the interview. During the meeting, the journalist asked Huzoor about the history of anti-Ahmadi laws passed in Pakistan in 1974.
When it started, that was all political. Bhutto wanted to gain popularity through this issue. And this is why he put this matter before the assembly. And Pakistan Assembly, after having had a long discussion and hearing in the National Assembly where our third successor appeared, and then he explained to them everything. And if you read his statement, the one he read, and the answers he gave to the assembly members are very clearly explain that we believe in the finality of the prophethood of the Holy Prophet of Islam, and we believe in Khatm an-Nubuwwat, that is the seal of the Prophet, and we believe in the same one God, we believe in the same holy book, the Quran, we believe in the same Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and all the teachings of Islam. But anyway, that was pre-planned, pre-decided, and ultimately, after having long hearing in National Assembly and talk and discussion and question and answer, ultimately they decided that Ahmadis are not Muslims for the purpose of law and constitution. They did not say that Ahmadis are non-Muslim. Ahmadis are not Muslims for the purpose of law and constitution. That is the wording. It means whatever we believe, that is our belief. But later on, during Riyad's regime, it was further modified or strengthened. And it said that you cannot call azan, you cannot name your children as Muslim name, you cannot make your mosque in the shape of the mosque as Muslim make. And there were so many restrictions. So it was further strengthened, that law. And that also made enmity among the people. And mullahs also took advantage of it. And now they think it is the easiest way to gain the popularity, or I should rather say the cheap popularity.
I was here in the spring when you had the Peace Symposium, and you touched on a very relevant point. Can you probably comment on that, elaborate on that point that you raised on the role of the UN?
You see, it is quite clear. Now everybody can see what is the role of UN. It could not stop Gaza war, it could not stop Ukraine-Russia war. Whatever UN said or the Secretary General said, whatever the International Court of Justice said, they do not want to accept it or to obey it. So what is the role? UN now is only by name. It's just a figurehead. So it's now valueless. When the Third World War erupts, then it will have the same fate as the League of Nations.
What would be your suggestion for another way of trying to solve the international problems? What would be your suggestion in reforming maybe the UN? Or
The only way to come out from this situation is absolute justice, without any discrimination. No matter who you are a human being. No matter which nation you belong to, no matter which continent you come from, you are a human being. Africans, Asians, Europeans, Russians, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Jews, they all should be treated equally. And this is why Quran says that if you have to give witness against your own self, your loved ones, your kindred, you do it. But here you can see when it comes to the matter of Europe, then you treat Europeans in a different way than the Asians, than the Africans. When it comes to the matter of Jews and Christians and Muslims, then you have a different yardstick of measuring them, measuring their sentiments, measuring their values, measuring their situations, measuring their status.
Your Holiness, I am pretty sure you realize how much these words are important, and they are not common to be uttered in the world we live in. Who can bring this justice to the world?
My job is just to let the people know about what is the true, real situation and what is right and what is justice. If the people accept it, well and good. We shall continue doing this like this.
Among many Muslims, the word jihad is used in a very violent way. How do you explain that word and the concept?
You see, jihad literally means to struggle and strive, to work hard for gaining any purpose. Even there is a saying of the Holy Prophet of Islam, ﷺ, once he was coming from an expedition of a war, and he said, now we are coming from a lesser jihad and going towards the bigger jihad, and that is the teaching of Islam through the teaching of the Holy Quran. So it means, in his view also, the jihad of sword was a lesser jihad, which was imposed on him. And he had no way but to retaliate. And the bigger jihad is to spread the message of Islam through the Holy Quran, and which categorically says that La ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in religion. Whoever wants to accept Islam, he can accept. Who denies it, refuses it, he has the right to do it. But being a human being, we should all live together. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ migrated from Makkah to Medina, he did not plan for any jihad. It were the Meccans who attacked him, and he had to retaliate. He had to fight back. Even the founder of the Ahmadiyya movement has said, there are quite a number of Muslims in China. The companion of the Holy Prophet ﷺ went there to do preaching. And through preaching, Chinese accept Islam. There was no war. Millions of people accepted Islam. Why? There are so many other places where Islam spread, and that was through teaching, not war.
Many non-Muslim people in the West associate Islam or some kind of Islam with the women issue in the mistreating of women, like saying that Islam prescribes women to be of a lesser rank. What is your comment on the role of women?
You see, Quran says men and women both have the same right. But women have been entrusted the job of training their children. How can they train their children if they are uneducated, if they are illiterate, if they are ignorant? That means Islam says women should also learn about religion. Women should also learn about worldly knowledge. Women should also learn about other academic things. Women can also be involved in other professions. Even during the wars, during the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, when the women used to participate in the war as a medical personnel to help the injured and wounded people. So, this doesn't mean that they should remain in the four walls of their house. There are quite a number of women who even fought in the wars during the early time of Islam. But at the same time, God says the main duty to be the breadbasket of their house is of man. They should earn for their house. And the main duty of the woman is to train their children. But for training their children, they should also learn and improve their knowledge so that they can transfer that knowledge to their children. This is why once the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, learn half of the religious knowledge from Aisha, his wife, because she was very talented and practicing Muslim. Even he asked Muslim men that if she tells you something which she has learned from me, then take it seriously. Even in the Holy Quran, Allah Ta'ala says that treat your women with kindness. Never ever it has said that if you are cruel to your women, you will be saved. No. Islam does not say that women do not have any right. They have the right. Even they have the right of divorce in Islam, which you only had some decades or 1 century ago in Europe. If you study the teaching of the religions, no religion is giving that much rights which has been given to the women in Islam.
I know that you have a strong devotion to the shroud in Turin, which is very much important for Christianity. Can you comment on why and how it happens that you have this devotion?
Because we believe that the impression on the shroud is the proof that Jesus did not die on the cross. He survived the cross and he was put in a cave for some days, treated with the ointment, and when he was cured to some extent, then he left that place and went for the search of the lost tribes of Israel. This is one of the proofs that, as Jews claim, that the person who dies on the cross has died a cursed death. And we refute their argument by saying that the Turin shroud is one of the proofs that he did not die on the cross. You are wrong. So you cannot say Christians believe in a person who died as an accursed death. No. He survived, he lived, he migrated to the other lost tribes of Israelites were living, and he preached there. He lived a long life for 120 years. And this is one of the proofs. So this is just to refute the allegation of Jews against Christianity and Jesus Christ. So we are helping you.
Those were highlights from an interview which took place last weekend. We now end with a final segment, the Friday Sermon Summary.
In today's Friday sermon, Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, spoke regarding the expedition of Banu Mustalik. Towards the end of his sermon, Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, drew special attention towards prayers during the month of Muharram.
آج محرم کے حوالے سے جس میں ہم آج کل گزر رہے ہیں دعا کی طرف بھی توجہ دلانا چاہتا ہوں. یہ ایک دردناک واقعہ ہے جس میں ظلم و بربریت کی انتہائی مثال قائم ہوئی. حضرت صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے نواسے اور آپ کے خاندان کے لوگوں کو شہید کیا گیا. لیکن مسلمانوں کی بدقسمتی ہے کہ اس سے سبق لینے کے بجائے یہ ظلم اب تک چل رہا ہے. محرم میں شیعہ سنی فساد یا دہشت گردی کے حملوں کے واقعات بڑھ جاتے ہیں. اس میں جانیں بھی ضائع ہوتی ہیں دونوں طرف سے. بلکہ اس فرقہ واریت اور ذاتی مفادات کے حصول کی خواہش نے مسلمان دنیا میں فتنہ و فساد کی صورت پیدا کی ہوئی ہے. بلکہ سارا سال ہی علماء کی طرف سے بھی مختلف گروہوں کی طرف سے بھی اور حکومتوں کی طرف سے بھی ظلم و تعدی کے مظاہرے ہو رہے ہیں ایک دوسرے کے خلاف. کوئی ان کو عقل نہیں آتی کہ کچھ تو سیکھیں, کچھ تو خوف خدا کریں. اللہ تعالیٰ نے جو اس فساد کو ختم کرنے کے لیے اپنے وعدے کے مطابق انتظام فرمایا ہے اسے یہ قبول کرنے کے لیے تیار نہیں ہے. یہ مسیح موعود کی بیعت میں آنا ہی نہیں چاہتے, جو واحد ایک ذریعہ ہے جو امت واحدہ بنانے کا نظارہ دکھا سکتا ہے اور فسادوں کو ختم کر سکتا ہے. کاش کہ ان لوگوں کو سمجھ آئے. بہرحال ان دنوں میں احمدیوں کو درود شریف پڑھنے اور مسلمانوں کی اکائی کے لیے خاص دعاؤں کی طرف توجہ دینی چاہیے. اپنی حالتوں کو بھی بہتر کرنے اور اللہ تعالیٰ سے تعلق میں بڑھنے کی طرف بھی خاص توجہ دینی چاہیے ہمیں. اللہ تعالیٰ سب کو اس کی توفیق بھی عطا فرمائے.